The Vancouver Canucks play in about 15 minutes from now when I overslept, which means that I did not upload a video at 3 p.m. PST. That's my bad. That's the third video of the day that's supposed to go up, and I was irresponsible and not able to fulfill that. So, let's go out there and talk about a topic involving a team that does not happen to play today, which makes it easier for me to get this done because I don't need to be competing with any NHL games. The Edmonton Oilers. The reason we're talking about the Oilers is because of two things. Firstly, there was a comment I saw made on Twitter that I thought was interesting enough to bring up. There was a conversation on the subreddit regarding this comment, and then there was the article posted by Marc Spector earlier in the week as well, talking about the Oilers and how they have no answers. Now, missed, or not even missed, but falsified, too many men calls aside against the LA Kings, this team played off against LA yesterday and lost in a pretty dramatic fashion. In regulation, 6-3 is the final score, and you have yourselves tweets made like this one being made as a result. Let's take a look at Wheat No Oil and their Twitter account. It's January 10th, and the Oilers have basically no chance at a top 3 division spot. When accounting for games played, they're 4th out of the 4 teams fighting for the 2 wildcard spots. They have no cap room, and they can't run a 23-player roster if Kane is activated. Just remarkable. And okay, in a follow-up tweet they say, 5th is most likely, but it is still a wide-open division. That's fair. It's not no chance at a top 3 spot, but they're fading fast here. It's Dom Lucician who actually goes out there and provides the chart, how the Oilers have the 5th most likely finishing position in this division right now, and I mean, they're above Vancouver, San Jose, and Anaheim. They have an 11% chance at making the 2nd overall spot in the Pacific, 17% at 3rd, 25% at 4th, 37% at 5th. So even though it is possible for the Oilers to go on a heater and win a whole bunch of games and get themselves a top 3 finishing spot in the division, it's a lot less likely to happen than to actually happen. Let's go over onto the Oilers subreddit and read some comments because this stat was posted over there. McDAVID'S entire career has been hampered by bad contracts, Bill the Butcher says, by players not playing up to their cost over and over again, year after year. Bagel Bob says the slight overpay here and there to attract players in free agency, it's fine, like the extra dollars for Hyman and whatnot, I can stomach that. But the extra money thrown at their homegrown guys who underperform, like Yamamoto, Puljujarvi, Nurse, etc., kills us. We still need those homegrown cost players on value contracts. It sucks. Have to feel bad for the core guys. There's a little bit of optimism as well. We're 5 points back from 3rd place. I know Seattle has 3 games in hand, but to say there's no chance is wrong. The Oilers turned up when they got Kane last February. Here's hoping for a repeat. George Gammy Costanza says someone other than McDavid, Draisaitl, Hyman, Nuge, and Skinner needs to step up. We have 5 guys doing all the heavy lifting. The D has been terrible all year. Our bottom 6 gets caved in every night. This is not a good team. Furthermore, there's the response to this entire, oh, everybody is so negative type of attitude. How some of you didn't see this downward trend weeks ago is beyond me. They've been playing bad for months, but say anything remotely negative, and you get downvoted by the overly optimistic, the ones with the blinders on. And this all got even worse when you acknowledge this article published by Marc Spector earlier today, Oilers at mid-season, all kinds of problems with no clear answers in sight. I'll leave a link in the description to this article as well as the comment thread that we had read on Reddit because there's a lot more in there for the Oilers fans to talk about, but Marc Spector pretty much goes out there and says the same thing. Edmonton snatched each of those pebbles from the palm of the hockey gods last spring only to arrive at the 2022-2023 season with an apple, a roadmap, and not a hot clue how they'd done it months before. He's talking about the Oilers and their success from last season. It's like they were an expansion team, meeting each other for the first time at training camp. The Oilers, in Spector's words, are less a team than a pair of superstars and league-leading scorers McDavid and Draisaitl, a couple of elite scorers like Hyman and Nugent Hopkins, and a power play that can, in the regular season, act as the pancake batter that hides their blemishes. Beyond those assets lies simply a bunch of guys. A bottom 6 that lacks definition, personality, grit, or toughness. A soft, erratic defense corps. A group of sub-24 players who have taken backward steps since last season, and goaltending where the answer has become the question and the backup has become the starter. Missing only Evander Kane, injuries are not an excuse. Those are some very tough words from the main Edmonton Oilers beat reporter in the Sportsnet system because, I mean, comparing the team to pancake batter, that's kind of funny. But either way, aside from that, there's a discussion talking about how Stuart Skinner has been a surprise, how Campbell has really not been great, he's been struggling. There's the disappointment part of the article talking about Campbell, Ryan McLeod, Yamamoto. And again, I'll leave a link in the description if you want to go ahead and read all this. There's a lot more in the piece that talks about the Oilers and their circumstances. But to conclude, this is the issue that will define the 22-23 Oilers. Can they find a defensive game that can cover up for their lack of even-strength scoring, where the Oilers' goal share is 49.19%, and their 91 goals at even strength at the halfway mark of the season ranks 21st in the NHL. The return of Kane, who played just 14 games before having his wrist cut by Pat Maroon, will help on the few fronts. But a second-pair defenseman who can kill penalties and chew into Nurse's team-leading 24.06 per game is paramount to any playoff push and ensuing postseason run the Oilers hope to make. No clear answers in sight. Talk to the comments your thoughts about the Oilers and the way that they've gone, because when it comes to the guys at the very top, I mean the top of the mountain, the top of the pyramid that is the NHL, we all know how good Draisaitl and McDavid is. All sock memes aside, Connor McDavid is really just an absolute superstar. Like, there isn't any other word that we could go out there and use to describe this guy. Let me pull up the numbers right here, because I did not have this open when I started the recording. I probably should have done that. My bad. As I said, I overslept. I'm a terrible content creator, and I'm not good at this job. McDavid has 77 points in 42 games played, on pace for 150 points. And even though that's a bit lower than what he was on pace for earlier, when he was on pace for like 159 or whatever it was, it's still pretty good. Now, for me personally, I would love to see McDavid just start torching the league even more and getting back up to a 150-something point pace, because, as we had said a few videos ago, there's only 2 players in NHL history who have scored more than 155 points in one season, and those are Gretzky and Lemieux. Everybody else, Yzerman, Esposito, Nichols, Yager, LaFontaine, Bossy, they reached a max of 155 points. And so, I want McDavid to go out there and break Steve Yzerman's 155-point record of players not named Wayne or Mario, and put himself in the record books in a class of scores that has only been achieved by guys in the 80s and 70s and, okay, the 90s, because Lemieux was there. But either way, McDavid has been fantastic, and the rest of the team around him, around Draisaitl, around Hyman, around Nugent-Hopkins, everybody in the bottom 6, everybody on the defense, nobody has stepped up, and they're not that great. So, you can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the way the Oilers season has gone so far, how they're in the standing they're in right now. They're not guaranteed to making the playoffs, even though they were a third-round team last year, and they were a very good team towards the end of the regular season as well. What are your thoughts on the Oilers and what they need to improve on? Do you think that's going to happen? Do you think Ken Holland is the man to get that done? Or do you think this is an inevitable time bomb for McDavid to eventually leave and go somewhere else because this team has been unsatisfying? Talk to the comments your thoughts. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.